All right, so now we're gonna take the dogs out for a little bit of a mini walk. Now, Sapphire's guardian likes using a gentle leader, which goes around the dog's snout. A lot of times I like to use a martingale. People who follow me on online know that I use a martingale a lot of times. I learned the trick actually at the Humane Society, which is where these dogs have all come from. But the gentle leader works great, and it's a great tool. There's nothing wrong with using it. So I just went over the structured walk. We're gonna keep each dog on a side. We're not gonna let them interact with each other, and nobody's gonna be able to be in front. For dogs, whoever literally is in front is leading. And when you have two dogs that are already having some conflicts, if one of them is in front, the other one is gonna pull, and then you're gonna have back and forth of them trying to get in front. So what I want to communicate is I am the leader, I am the one who's setting the pace, and the dogs need to walk at my pace next to me, not in front of me. So what I'm gonna do is, I always like to go through here and grab the leash here, so I have 2 points of contact here and here in case the leash slips. And then I call this choking up. So I do it a couple times. So I'm not gonna give the dog a whole lot of extra room because we have two dogs that have interacted in a negative way, and I wanna have a little bit more control. Now, if you do use a gentle leader, you don't wanna snap or use a heavy correction. It should be, because a dog's snout is where the pressure is, and it's pretty sensitive. So usually a little bit of a tug will get you where you want, and if possible, we can use positive reinforcers to re-motivate the dog. There we go. All right, so let me go ahead and have this leash real quick. And I'm gonna do the same thing here, run my hand through. And Siss-e is a little uncomfortable. That's all right. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and walk on down the driveway. I'm gonna have you kind of step in you can stay in the yard, and I'm just gonna kind of go back and walk in front.
I'm gonna get it. Go for it.
Okay.
Now, a loud sound like that kind of spooked him a little bit. So if you're going to do this, make sure that we are aware of our environment. So if there's like somebody edging a lawn or a lawnmower, something your dogs are reactive to, we need to make sure we pay attention to those sort of things. And I always want to put the dog in a position to succeed. So if the dogs I know are fearful for that, I might wait until the weed eater guy is done before we do the walking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk back and forth here in front of your sidewalk just so you can kind of see how we get them together. Now again, I'm kind of choking up a little bit on the leash. And I don't want to pull her the whole way, so I'll give her a little bit of a tug and then relax. Tug, relax. Tug, relax. Yeah, we hear you, buddy. So ideally we'd like a loose leash. Now again, you've been letting, the dog's guardians have been letting them kind of sniff and go wherever they want, and that can give the dog the wrong impression as well. So we don't want them to think that either one of them is in charge. The human should be in charge. So if I'm worried about it, I'm going to insert myself. Now, if I'm worried about the dogs biting, dogs do have something called redirected aggression, where they will bite whatever they have near them. I haven't seen any indicators that Sapphire will do this, so if that is the case, then you need to take other precautions. But right now, they seem both pretty comfortable. Siss-e is clearly not completely comfortable being around Sapphire, but Sapphire's body language, her tail is low, she's not staring at her, her ears are slightly back, she's not stiff, she's not breathing heavy, so these are all good signs that tell us that we're not overwhelming the dog. We don't want to put too much on their plate and put them in a position where they're going to fail because they're under stress. Just like us, dogs are going to act not as good under stress as they will under a regular situation. So let's go ahead and try to walk a little bit more. Have a lamp post where dogs have probably peed on it. So it's going to be appealing for her to check out and sniff. We're not going to allow her to do it. Is that a live snake?
Yep.
All right. Good for
Don't
you.
get too close to me. I don't like snakes.
We have snakes, dog behavior, we got it all going on. So walking dogs like this together, where again, we want to take our time before we leave the house. The dogs are not in an overexcited state. We don't have an environment where the dogs are going to be stressed out. And we want them to practice being together. Now again, we prefer not to be tugging her too much on the leash for a Siss-e, but we do want them to spend time in a positive association. Right now, the only time that they're together is when she's muzzled or when there's some stress and anxiety. Dogs get over things by literally moving forward, and dogs enjoy walks. So if we start coupling them together under a controlled situation where the dogs are not able to interact with each other negatively, they're both doing something that they enjoy, they're both doing something that helps them get over their particular peccadillos, all of these things combined are going to be very beneficial for the dogs. Sitting down with her back to Sapphire, huge. Sapphire, sit, sit. So we have two dogs that are not the best of buddies, but they're able to be together fine without any issues because the guardian or the handler has the situation under control. Sit, sit, sit. I do have treats. There we go. Sit. So what I would recommend that you do is start taking the dogs on a regular walk, even if it's just to the end of the block and back. Now I would also bring some treats and get the dogs to practice sitting. Now this is where the petting with a purpose we went over earlier will help both dogs because they get more used to it. When we're out walking, every once in a while, maybe in between each driveway, we stop, put the dogs into a sit, give them a treat. Now if you're using a muzzle for her to make you feel more comfortable, it'd be a little bit more challenging. You might have to put this leash down, step on it here, and then pull out a treat and then be able to manipulate here for Sapphire. Do whatever you need to do to feel comfortable because the guardian has to feel comfortable. The dogs will know. You can't fake it. If you're nervous or anxious, you can trigger a response or a conflict just from that because she might interpret it as coming from her. But if we get them in a habit of doing it, and if you can do it at the same time, regularity does help with some elderly dogs. These are not too old. Now that's even better. So now that they're relaxed, I can give more leash. This is a beautiful, enjoyable, she's avoiding. They're both actually practicing avoidance, but that's good. She sees that she's laying down near her. This little encounter will help her feel more confident. And the more that you control the situation, the more the human controls the situation, the less the dogs have to handle it for themselves. And after enough time, then the dogs are basically just going to defer to the humans to handle it as opposed to handling it amongst themselves. Now when she got up, I choked up on the leash just to make sure that I have the ability because this is the dog I'm worried about attacking here. So if she does, I can immediately pull her away if I need to. I'm letting her have more leash because she's telling me she's comfortable and she's not the attacker. So even if it's just a couple of minute walk, maybe you go to the end of your block and back, each time we want to try to walk them a little bit more together, but we want to make sure we orchestrate as many activities we can get them doing together where they're both enjoyable, they're in a calm frame of mind, and there's no conflict or animosity or anything that's going to create tension. And after that happens enough, then eventually the dogs kind of like just forget about fighting with each other. You mentioned for the first month they were fine. I'm thinking when the first month they came in, they weren't quite sure who was in charge. Then there weren't any rules and they could tell you what to do, so now they're like, well, we got to figure it out amongst ourselves. I think she probably took a little advantage. Sit, sit, sit. All right, so regular walks, even if it's just a 5-minute walk, let's make sure we try to get these going every day. And eventually you can bring your other Dalmatian as well. But right now we want to focus, splayed, that these guys are comfortable with one another because this is where your conflict is. All right, signing off from Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're having a good one.